might have heard that I'm using Hindi, औरत ही औरत की दुश्मन है, which basically means that a woman is a woman's enemy. So when a girlfriend or wife enters the picture, the mother feels jealous, insecure, replaced, and threatened. You see that when wives go into their boy's home, a lot of fights happen between the mother and his wife. She will subtly or openly compare himself to the partner, criticize the partner, portray herself as the victim, guilt the son for choosing his partner, saying that what girl I should have chosen for you, you should have taken that girl, and you hear things like that, creating friction between the couple. This is the root of 70% Indian marriage fights, which then later ends up in courts. Because then what happens, this is a very shitty pattern. There's a fight happening between the mother and her wife, then the wife vents that out to her family, then a lot of strategies are being made that, okay, are you really happy with this person, the girlfriend or the wife. Okay, back with another interesting video, the mother son trap. How a mother makes her child basically incompetent in terms of relationships and things like that. Why does it happen? Let's go in a little bit depth, because a lot of families struggle with it. How it just destroys men completely, and it just causes havoc. So, Indian culture praises the mama's boy, but beneath that sweetness is a deep psychological trap. Let's look at it. Sons are not raised to be independent men, they are raised to be extensions of their mother. This trap destroys adulthood, their own sense of masculinity, a lot of marriages, and there's like a lot of emotional instability. So let's just understand this cycle. Indian mothers love through control, not freedom. Indian mothers have this thing of equating love with a lot of interference, not empowering the child genuinely. They feel they're being caring when they monitor everything, your finances, charts, everything, decide what the son eats, where he goes, what he does, what he wears, solves every problem for him without making him independent, treats him like a fragile child. It feels warm. I understand the emotion that it comes from, but these have like long term consequences to it. It kills the man's growth. A boy becomes a man only when he faces life alone, faces the brutalities and challenges of life. And my dear friend, the world is not a very, very happy place. It's very cruel. People just don't take a second to rip you off from whatever resources you might be having. So it's very important that you just toughen yourself up, see the challenges of life head on. Indian mothers block that process unintentionally, maybe, but consistently. From childhood, you'll see you'll eat this. So and so teacher has said this and things like that. And then this happens because sons become emotional husbands without realizing. So whatever problems your mother might be having with your father, she just dumps that unconsciously on you. The version that she expects your father to be, she tries to mold you as per her expectation. So, in many homes, the mother son bond crosses normal parenting boundaries. She uses her son as like her emotional confidant, like your father did this, he's so bad, mean, and all of that. Her source of validation, because she does not get that validation from your father. Her source of attention, because you give her attention all the time. The person she went to, and the man of the house, emotionally speaking. This happens when the fathers are emotionally absent, a lot cold, distant, and unavailable. And it's, to be honest, not their fault, because men are not taught in our society to just healthily express the emotions that they have. And if they start expressing, women won't even understand a lot of those things. So the mother shifts her emotional needs onto the son. This makes the son responsible for her feelings. And then this people pleasing attitude also stems from that. I'll never do anything to displease my mother. I'll become the opposite of what my father is. You see these patterns being played out? No, this is exactly what happens in marriages, and the cycle continues again and again. This is what is known as the generational trauma is being passed down from parents to child and all of that. So again, guilt, since I'm talking on this point, guilt is installed from childhood as a control tool. Indian mothers are masters of emotional guilt, even unknowingly. Lines like, I did everything for you, I sacrificed my life, you're all I have, don't leave me alone, I gave up my dreams for you. You know the script. This creates a son who grows up feeling guilty for wanting genuine independence, setting boundaries, choosing a partner as per his liking, as per his compatibility. This is where the whole caste system, the baggage, and all of that comes in. Let's see, even if a person wants to move cities for education, jobs, he needs to rebel. One wants to live life on his own terms. There's like a lot of problem doing that. Guilt is the strongest change in childhood. We have done so and so. Now you'll talk like this. You need to just unlearn all of that, and there are like practical steps to it. Maybe I can just cover that in the next videos. Do comment if you want a video. But anyhow, coming back to this point, so what is thus this whole ecosystem is being created where that small person is just being overprotected, and it creates a very weak and fearful man. Indian sons are raised into this bubble that don't go here, don't talk to them, girls are evil, don't take risks, be prepared, careful of everything. Instead of preparing boys for danger, mothers shield them from it. Of course, it's coming from love, but after a point, that love becomes toxic. So boys grow up scared of making decision. I've seen people in their 30s still asking their parents that what is it that they should do. They're very anxious socially. They're just dependent on the outside world for approval. Risk averse, let's say if one wants to take a certain sort of risk, leave his job to pursue something, he'll be shit scared of doing that. They're very emotionally fragile. Like just a little bit of problem, they'll just scatter. There would not be some emotional, you can say, calmness that is demanded of them when life gets tough. An overprotected child becomes an underdeveloped man, and then the cycle continues. A weak parent just nurtures this weak son who then is afraid of engaging into conflicts, asserting what his boundaries should be in the world. The mother designs that person's entire identity. Many Indian sons never form a healthy self identity because their mother decides everything for them: what he wears, where he studies, which relative he must call, when he should come home, how much he must earn, when he should marry, the type of girl she should marry so that she can save face in front of her relatives. A lot of people have problems wherein they want the type of girl that they have selected, which just ruins a lot of things. Identity is formed through choice. Indian sons have no choices, only instructions that you do this, XYZ. This creates men with no sense of self. Like, not men even, because men, I feel, are fundamentally people who just have a certain risk taking appetite in life and a sense of feeling protected, feeling comfortable in their own skin. Sons are rewarded for obedience, not genuine strength. A good Indian son, and I add it in quotes, is defined as obedient, quiet, predictable as per the routine, dependent, compliant, all because of bad reasons, because a certain image is being projected on that person. Let's say the strength that a person has, a sort of aggression that each man comes with, a certain sense of assertiveness, proper healthy boundary setting, all are just discouraged. So what happens? A boy grows into a big boy with the brain of a child. He cannot say no, cannot stand up for himself, avoids conflict, feels guilty for wanting freedom, fears emotional pressure from the other half, from the other females when they start coming in his life. Women really don't want this type of man. Society doesn't respect this man. In the long term, he just shoots himself in the foot, but his mother worships this man because he is controllable, which the mother was not able to do to her father. She could not control his father. So she makes her son controllable. And then sons become extensions of the mother's ego. In many families, this son becomes this project sort of person. Mother uses the son's achievement as a show off to society because she's speaking through her son. My son is an engineer, which essentially means that how big of a thing he has done. My son earns this much. My son brought this car. The son becomes an achievement trophy, not a human being. His value is measured in how proudly she can talk about him in front of others. This pressure crushes men inside. I've seen a lot of people just crying because they forgot their mother's birthday, they were unable to wish to her, and a lot of other things. You see how this pattern is just replayed in that child's mind. And then emotional manipulation becomes normal behavior. We don't recognize this when we are children, but when we grow up, it all makes sense. Many mothers, intentionally or not, use strategies like crying, emotional blackmail, that if you do this behavior, I'll do this, I'll cut my hands and whatnot, giving you a silent treatment of sorts, saying you don't care about me, falling sick conveniently, saying I'm not feeling well. You might have seen that when there's a healthy conflict and for some time maybe the son just goes out of the home, the mother starts acting, I'm not feeling good. Like these are all blackmail strategies, acting helpless. These patterns train the son to respond to the emotional pressure immediately because the fear or flight response is activated in the brain, that either I should just run away from it or something might happen, so I must fix it immediately. So later in life, anyone who shows a certain sort of emotional drama, which females in general have a lot of proclivity towards, can control him very easily. He later becomes manipulable, and these sort of people become the ideal, you can say, pappu slash provider type of people, or just used by narcissistic females for their own needs. Any woman who enters his life is seen as a threat. Mothers subconsciously fear losing their emotional control over the son. You might have heard that I'm using Hindi, औरत ही औरत की दुश्मन है, which basically means that a woman is a woman's enemy. So when a girlfriend or wife enters the picture, the mother feels jealous, insecure, replaced, and threatened. You see that when wives go into their boy's home, a lot of fights happen between the mother and his wife. She will subtly or openly compare himself to the partner, criticize the partner, portray herself as the victim, guilt the son for choosing his partner, saying that what girl I should have chosen for you, you should have taken that girl, and you hear things like that, creating friction between the couple. This is the root of 70% Indian marriage fights, which then later ends up in courts. Because then what happens? This is a very shitty pattern. There's a fight happening between the mother and her wife. Then the wife vents that out to her family. Then a lot of strategies are being made that okay, are you really happy with this person? The girlfriend or the wife in a lot of cases ditches that person, goes back to her home, and then just all starts strategizing that what are the type of cases that I can file just from a revenge perspective, the emotional hurt that that person might have had. So you see this game, if the person is not basing the relationship on the right center or breaking his own biases, traumas, he cannot act in a way that is needed in that specific situation from him. Marriage turns into this three-person emotional warfare, 3% tug of war. In India, marriage is not between two people, it's between two families, but especially son, mother, and wife. The son becomes the referee, a mediator of sorts, a punching bag, maybe a peacekeeper at times. His mental health collapses, his masculinity dissolves, things that genuinely give him happiness. His relationship becomes a battlefield of sorts. Then men feel trapped between duty and desire. The duty is be a good son, obey your mother, and the desire is live my life, build my identity, choose my partner on my own terms. Or if you're married, unfortunately, let me spend time with my wife as I should. This creates a lot of guilt, confusion, silent anger, silent suffering. A man who tries to make both women happy ends up destroying himself because he becomes a people pleaser person. Mother creates sons who cannot take decisions alone. Years of over control. You see that all of this is happening for the most primitive years of your life, which is early childhood, and let's say till 20, when your psychological structure is being formed. Years of over control leads to fear of making mistakes, paralysis during choices. If I have to choose between two options, a lot of over reliance on other people, inability to lead your own self, forget about leading other people, zero confidence in your own decision making capabilities, and then a lot of men struggle with careers, relationships, money decisions, life planning, easy, quick schemes, and you know the list. Because they were never allowed to learn genuine decision making, or at least just develop a capability of sorts that whatever decision I take, even if it goes wrong, I still have my parents to just look at it, see the downside of it. That confidence is never created. And then when these people go out in the corporate spaces, in the work life, a lot of games are just already existing. We're just unable to strategically, let's say, move in a way that is at least beneficial to us, or move in a way wherein we just are not hurting ourselves in the long term. Mothers then instill a fear of strong independent women because they themselves have never been independent in their lives, because earlier marriages used to happen wherein mothers were usually dependent on your fathers and things like that. And then mothers see that if a strong independent woman comes into his life, he'll genuinely just be away from my life. I've seen a lot of mothers abusing their son's wife because that wife has stolen that son away from her. Many mothers teach a son, it still happens that modern girls will take advantage of you. Career women don't care for family. A lot of people also propagate this. Your wife will ruin our home. Don't trust women outside our community. You can add caste, religion, whatnot into it. This plants deep insecurity and fear. So men seek marriage partners that they can control. Continuing the cultural cycle, they would exactly seek a very weak woman so that they can control her, and the cycle just keeps on repeating. Breaking this, now I've talked a lot about, I think, patterns. Breaking this trap requires creating distance, not disrespect. Just become distant from your mother. You don't need to fight your mother. You just need to separate your identity, make your own decisions, reduce your emotional dependency on her. Move out if possible, because a lot of people, let's say, when they want to marry, have somewhat level of financial independence. Stop sharing everything of your life. Don't involve her in your own personal relationship details. Set boundaries lovingly but firmly. So in my previous video, I talked about setting boundaries in a very respectful way. That can also be applied here, that you're just setting boundaries in a very respectful way with your mother, because we cannot ever forget the sacrifices that she has done. But there's a thin line, that when that sacrifices becomes a tool to control you versus just a genuine nishkam karm yogi sort of person. So real love means allowing sons to grow into men. A healthy mother at least says that, go live out your life. I want you to be strong, not obedient, and protect us when the need arises. So real love makes you free, not controls you. In a similar manner, motherhood is empowerment, not possession of you as a person. A man becomes complete only when he steps outside of the emotional womb and builds a life that he owns and is genuinely proud of. So, of course, you owe your mother your love, but not your entire sense of being, not your identity. The day you step out of this mother son trap is the day you at least move a little bit ahead on this journey of manhood. So, this is a video which I wanted to share. It's a pretty long video, but I just wanted to go deeply into a lot of patterns. Let me know what you feel about this video. Do write in the comment section your insights, opinions, learnings, what you have learned, what limitations you have broken. And I'll catch you in the next video. So until then, this is Debashish Pindra from Debu Ki Dastak signing off. Cheers. Bye.